Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a unique best of 3 between Astraea and Gumiho. Both of these players, they are unique in the most positive sense of the word, okay? It's not unique in that you walk into their house and they're gonna start flinging poo at you. No, this is unique in the sense that they both have a different type of StarCraft mind than the average player, okay? They view build orders and unit compositions just different from the other high-level players. Now, I know there's lots of low-level guys that are now thinking, well, I'm also unique. I play different too than my butts in gold. And that might be true, but it is not as difficult to play different in gold because no one, no offense, has any clue what they're really doing. You can get away with a lot of stuff because it's not getting punished. At a high level, it is often very difficult to kind of move away from what the standard meta is, because it's the standard meta for a reason, because it is the best most of the time. If it's not the best, pro players would most likely be playing something different because we're here to win, you know? And it is at a very high level. It's difficult to get away with stuff that is weird and odd. And these guys, they do embrace it a little bit, you know, that weirdness and the quirkiness in each matchup. And I've seen Astraea here moving across the map with a Zealot. Love to see it. It's gonna achieve most likely not a whole lot. A little bit of a delay on this CC. Not sure if that is worth 100 minerals. In my opinion, it is not, but he did it anyway. He's gonna keep the Zealot alive though. Now we have this Adept coming in as well. We'll be capable of taking out at least one of these Marines. Oh, missed target fire there. Look at that. Splits the attention. Oh no, Astraea. This is chaos. He's gonna get a second one, lose an Adept. 2 Marines for an Adept. That's not a trade that I would be super stoked about if I am Astraea. He's now gonna take out this Marine. I don't think he's gonna get this car. He's gonna need 5 shots for it. I think he's only gonna get 3 in. I should know how many shots you can execute during your shade. I don't actually know. I want to say it's like 4 or 5. I don't... These, they feel like important things to know, and for whatever reason, I've never thought of it like that. Either way, we have 3 barracks coming. This is really fast for extra barracks, by the way. Holy crap. It's because he has such a low marine count here. So he saved a lot of money and he can add these barracks pretty early. Oh, this is nice bait out of Astraea. Look at that. He's baiting with this Adept. He's baiting with the Adept, and now comes the Oracle. Well, that was pretty bad control. Not gonna lie. He should have let the Cyclone lock on to this Adept and then come in with the Oracle. At the same time, we have a Hellion in the main base. This one's gonna get at least 1 kill. And probably just that 1 kill. The Oracle over here. Second Oracle is gonna clear it up. Twilight Council about to finish up as well. Most likely going to go into Blink, as we have 3 gases here. We have a battery that's being built on the natural base. I wonder if Astraea saw that Liberator. I feel like he might have. Is this... Okay, this is double gate. Double gate, Stargate, 2 Oracles. I am really curious how he's gonna play this out. This is one of these builds that I played quite a bit in the past, and I love this build. You know, this Oracle into Blink shenanigans. I thought it was great fun. But I always had one major issue with it, and that major issue that I had was that I would often just die against the first push that Terran could send to you, the stim combat push, because your blink is so late that you usually don't have charge quite done yet. And that is an issue, right? That is actually an issue. It's really difficult to deal with that. And then if you're busy defending with it, it also kind of sucks. So yeah, I'm really curious how Astraea is going to do all of that. Like, does he have a different type of plan, or is... Like, how's he going to defend? That's basically my main question. He doesn't have a lot of gateways. Doesn't have any extra sentries either. Sometimes you can do it with like Sentry Stalker to really control space. That is not going to be the case here quite yet. Look at that. We're going to have a 7 Marine pickup in this medevac. We have a pylon that's being plopped down here on the top side. This Phoenix is patrolling the dead space. Oh, poor Marine. Actually, lucky Marine being stuck in the stasis. He would have been eaten alive here by the Adept otherwise. Like, look how little units we have. Look how little units we have. What do we have? We have 4 Stalkers, 1 Adept, an Oracle, 2 Sentries, and 1 Phoenix. Like, this is a lot of specialist units that are great. He's also lost 1 Oracle already, let's not forget. But it's a lot of money in specialist units that don't really provide a lot of value if they're being stimmed upon by Marine Marauder and 2 Mines Burrow right in your face. Like, charge is not going to be done in time. We're still 70 seconds away, and even with 2 Chrono Boosts, that's going to be, what, 50 seconds? I think Gumiho should be capable of making across the map in that time. And although I say that, his army also isn't actually that large. He's only at 92 supply, 6 minutes and 35 seconds in. That is fairly mediocre for someone that has lost no units. Or no workers, at least. He has a couple of units. A Hellion, a Reaper, a Cyclone, a Liberator, 3 Marines. It's quite a bit. It's gonna move across the map. This just looks like a weak army to me. It really does. Gonna stim back home. Try and catch these Stalkers. Stalkers will probably need to recall out. I think all of them are gonna survive here. I don't think Gumiho has enough DPS. No, okay. Takes out 1 Stalker. But Astraea wins a little bit of time. Charge is getting closer to finishing up. We have this drop here on the top side as well. It's gonna take out this pylon. Stalkers, do they want to blink forward into this? I think you can actually. It's just 6 Marines. Snipe 1 extra. Ooh, he's gonna hide in the bushes. Not a great job hiding there. A little bit too tall for that. Stasis Ward, providing quite a bit of vision, of course. You can see a lot with that. I like how he's using Stasis Wards as kind of vision tools rather than necessarily to pick up units with. I don't mind that at all. We have a Robobay on the way. We have a Nexus that is being thrown down as well. We have another Stasis over here. Look at that vision ring that Astraea has created. That is beautiful to see. An Immortal coming in too. 3 Sentry, Stalker, Zealots. This is a weird type of push because it has no quick reinforcements possibilities. So I'd be shocked if Astraea is going to go through with it. Meanwhile, Gumiho, very heavy on the Marauder count. 14 Marauders, 18 Marines. It's great if there's Colossus out. But if there's no Colossus out, it's actually kind of nice to have a lot of Marines. Because Marines, they fight so freaking well against gateway units. Their DPS is mental. And they're so easy to produce en masse. +2 is on the way right now here for Gumiho, who does have the 1-1 upgrades against 0-0. Massive Zealot run by coming in as well. Triple Sentries will need to put in some work. Does he have vision of the army? Yes, he does. He needs to wall this off in time. He's not going to get the force fields down. Huge blunder here by Astraea, who just needed a little bit more time for that first Colossus to come out. There's no Ghost in here either. He's doing a Zealot run by at the same time. But yeah, not sealing this off with 3-4 force fields out of the 25 that he had saved in his 3 full energy sentries. That is a major blunder. Gumiho's just gonna walk in here and is gonna piss over this base, to be honest. This is his territory now. He's the mad dog in town. More and more reinforcements coming in. The Zealots have disappeared. Astraea is gonna try to hang on, but he isn't really hanging on anymore. This Colossus is the only thing that he has that is standing between Gumiho and a game 1 win. Marauder count is good enough that I think Gumiho can just stim in forward and walk up this ramp. Gumiho, however, doesn't need to. Gumiho can also just still move up towards the 9 o'clock base. Yeah, he's just gonna do it. Gets that Colossus, snipes the battery, GG gets called, and we have a winner for game number 1. Oceanborn as our second map. We have a scout coming out of Astraea this time. Last time, of course, just opening up with that Zealot, no need to scout. This time, he wants to scout. I honestly feel like not scouting in this matchup is quite underused. I believe, first of all, I know that not scouting is very solid economically. It just makes it much easier for you to have a kind of a solid early game because you just have more cash. Like your battery, you can build it for free. You don't even have to really think about it, which is sick. The real problem is that there are some builds that you can die against. Proxy Marauder, some Proxy Marine stuff. It can be difficult to deal with Proxy Reaper if you don't know about it ahead of time. But I feel like the percentage of times that Terrans do these types of builds, I think is too low for Protoss players to scout 80-85% of the time, which is really what I've been seeing. This was bad movement, by the way. Bad movement. He just went too fast. Need to wait a little bit longer there, buddy. But yeah, I really feel like that not scouting is extremely underrated. Like the income that you can gather from it is really quite high. Having that extra worker at home the entire time, hell yeah. That's a big deal. It's like 2 minutes of mining or so on that bad boy. That's actually going to shade out in vision. That means that Gumiho is allowed into the main. He could pick to go for a free scout, but instead he wants to try and pick off a probe. He might get the probe, and he's definitely denying a lot of mining time. He can now make another call. He can say, hey, do I want to stay alive or do I want to scout? And I think, oh, he's actually gonna scout. No, he's gonna do a third thing. He's gonna lose his Reaper for nothing. No, he's gonna scout. Okay, he wanted to get another probe. Did not get it. Does get the scouter in the end. A little bit of miscontrol perhaps by Australia, who's lost a bunch of mining time here against this. And yeah, Stalker is coming out right now. I am not necessarily loving this for our good friend Australia. Because it's going to be really late when he arrives on the other side of the map. There's going to be plenty of units to deal with this. It's just barely going to be missing that Hellion as well. I hope he doesn't shade into this. Oh my god, he cancels just in time. If he finishes up into this, I guess he gets 1 kill. Maybe a 2nd kill. Maybe it's fine actually. Who am I kidding? It's 3 of them, huh? You finish this? Australia's the type of guy that would. Okay, there's going to be a sentry behind this. Warp gate. Wait, warp gate is done already? That is fairly quick, isn't it? That warp gate. He must have chronoed it, but then accidentally is still building units and his gateway didn't finish in time. This adept is gonna die. Now he can decide where to die. It's your funeral. Okay, picked on top of the Terran ramp. Liberator behind it. Fast 2nd barracks this time. And I think we're going to maybe see a stim-based push without combat shield here initially. Maybe a tank, maybe 2 tanks. Move across the map. 1 or 2 medevacs from a non-tech lab or reactor starport. See what we can do from here on out. We have our hallucination coming in too. See what this guy is up to. Okay, and the moment you see early barracks like this, and you see a medevac out, you already know that there's either a medevac or liberator on the map. I think you just spotted the liberator. So you probably want to have some stalkers in here. Gumiho going in after he's been spotted is a wild play if he actually goes for it. This is a wild play because he actually goes for it. It's going to get 1 or 2 kills. Really not bad. I'm kind of okay with this for Gumiho, who can now unsiege as well and keep it alive. Very nice start indeed for the Terran player. You have some stalkers across the map, which is obviously the correct call. Because you know something is about to happen. 7 Marines. This is a really weird attack. He's gonna fly over the same spot again, where he got spotted by a probe earlier. Now there's going to be a pylon. Oh, he knew there was gonna be a pylon. He was unloading here already, just to clear the pylon. This is not a drop to deal damage, this is a drop to deny vision. Maybe accidentally supply block your opponent. Look at that. Australia really close to getting supply blocked as well. 76 out of 77. We have an Immortal coming in. We have a Robo Bay that is more than halfway done. Now we're gonna get another unload over here in this 3rd base. Oh, barely not going to lose that medevac. That would have been a very big deal. Gumiho really has balls of steel, eh? He just kind of goes for it. He doesn't give a crap what you're doing. He says, sure, you spotted me because I killed your pylon. And yes, I know you have Blink and a lot of stalkers, but wouldn't it be nice if I just drop right into your 3rd base, where I expect a lot of units are? He just goes for it. Okay, now he tried boosting to the left. He's just gonna escape. He's gonna get away with it as well. Despite Australia trying to meddle there, we have a push in forward. Now we have a relatively healthy stalker count at 8. Salad count is very low though. 2 sentries. 1 battery. Like, we're a bad drop away from this game falling apart. Colossus comes out. That is a big deal, because that's going to help massively in the damage output defensively. Zealot's being sent out here for spotting. No charge, which means it's dead. Whenever a Zealot gets caught like this, it's gonna die. Guaranteed. There's nothing you can do about it. 3rd base after 5 racks. So that means that Gumiho here is wanting to put on some serious pressure onto his opponent. He's gonna try marching through these force fields. This doesn't work like that, buddy. Oh, blink forward! He's gonna get caught by 1 mine. Mine on burrows. There's a 2nd mine there. Vision is kind of far back, by the way. I love that. I really do like that. because it shows the most important area, which is this area. It shows the rotation of the Terran. You know exactly where your opponent is going to come from. Now it's going to actually move forward. It's coming in from two sides at the same time. Colossus Fire needs to be good. Super Battery gets activated. See the Colossus pull back a little bit. Look at the target fire here, right on those clumps of Marines. Astraea doing a good job at that. Marines have now disappeared. That actually means, yeah, probes can be pulled theoretically. It is rare to see probes being pulled against the Terran and it being good. But in this case, if you've cleared majority of the Marines, then yeah, you can tank a couple of Marauder shots and it's just fine. Astraea is still up in worker count. Astraea is fine in the supply count. And if you look at attack, he now has 2 Colossus against someone that is on 3 empty medavacs and is just now adding in his first 2 Vikings. That means that every single stim that we're going to be seeing here is going to be extremely painful. Extremely painful. We also saw the split off was in range of the observer vision. I'm expecting a proper Stalker response here to the natural. I'd be sad if Astraea doesn't go for that properly. Second Forge coming in, Ghost Academy coming in too. Fourth base on the way. Gumiho, yeah, economically just not doing too hot. He can't afford Ghosts plus Armory and eBay. It's going to be Ghost first, another push, and then second eBay plus Armory. We have 3 Colossus already is my issue. They're here, right? We could be adding in Disruptors now. It's going to be an Observer. It was a Disruptor initially. Like, there's just big enough unit numbers that I don't really see a Ghost push doing a whole lot here. Because we're even-ish supply. Still no extra gases here on this base. We haven't seen the Ghost being produced yet. Okay, here they come. 1, 2, 3. The golden Ghost standard. But really, any number of Ghosts is good. Any number of Ghosts is could be a golden standard. Usually we do see those pushes with 3. Allowing you to hit most of the army with EMPs. Observer's not quite gonna die. We gotta scan forward. Now it's gonna fall in the end. Disruptor starting to hit the field. Would love to see a second robotics facility. Instead we're seeing more gateways. Typical Astraea move. If there's an excuse to build gates, he will take it. And he's found his excuse to build gates. I don't know what that excuse is, but I mean, he's building them, so it has to be there. Second eBay plus Armory. That does mean that Astraea is going to be up in upgrades for the near foreseeable future, at least. It's going to have +2 attack, +1 armor against a 1-1 player. Viking count, once again, it's really not all that impressive. It's at 8, but there's also 13 Stalkers. There's good vision, which means that if you move incorrectly here with these Vikings, you lose 1 or 2 before the fight, you can't actually easily fight into Colossus anymore. And this is why I often prefer having like 10 or so, because then at the start of a fight, you can lose 1 or 2, and it's kind of okay. It really is kind of okay. Because you still have those 8 for the actual battle, which is important. Okay, what else do we have here? The Templar Archive. Also, something that Astraea does very frequently is that he tags into Templar Archive to get into Storm. He just loves Storm as a defensive tool, as an aggressive tool, as a way to keep control of the map with spread out Templar. This is something that I think only he does, where he relies so much on Storm. Much more than, in my opinion, other players. There's people that love using Storm like early on for like rushes and like timing attacks with Storm or defensive timings with Storm. But not as consistently this late in the mid game as kind of like the first secondary type of splash. We very often see Colossus into high disruptor counts and then later on Storm maybe. But Astraea very frequently as the second type of splash gets Storm. And it's difficult to use because both Storm and Colossus get countered by the same army. They get countered by Ghost Viking. It's all about control in this case. Well, if you build Disruptors, eventually Terran is going to need to build a bunch of Liberators. If they don't build the Liberators, they're going to be having a very rough time. We have Gravitic Boosters, which is the Observer speed here, as well as Gravitic Drive already queued up. Astraea is feeling okay with his money situation right now. It's going to use a bunch of it. Can we get some good EMPs? Oh, Disruptor shots coming in. That's 1-2. You know what the nice thing about this is? Is that you still have the damage of 1 or 2 Disruptors and you have that ability to shoot from afar. But you don't have these huge numbers of supply being caught up in disruptors, which are difficult to split, which is the main issue with the Protoss army when it consists of 9-10 disruptors, which is usually what you need against Bio. So I actually really like the way he plays this. He's also instantly transitioning into Stargate +1 armor and probably wants to go into Tempest. I've heard of this playstyle. I've heard many tosses talk about this, like this Tempest Templar heavy playstyle. I personally haven't been able to find a lot of success with that. That probably has something to do with the units and nothing to do with my execution. So I'm curious to see how these other tosses are going to overcome that disadvantage of having bad units in the late game to still try and get a win out of here. One medevac is going to get sniped. It means it's harder to keep this army active on the map. We have more cannons coming in as well. Now have an attack on the far left. Did get spotted here by this observer. Preemptive EMP is going to hit a Templar that was chilling over there. Is this a scary army? If I'm a TOS, I'm looking at this and I think this is a scary army. In the sense that this is a scary army to have because it sucks. But apparently that's not what Astraea sees here. Astraea looks at this and thinks, oh, this is a powerful army. Gumiho also looked at it, was like, oh, it's big enough that I have to retreat. Nukes now coming in, 2 more Stargates. Fleet Beacon. We have this thing, the Fusion Core. 2nd Ghost Academy. It's going to be a nuke-heavy game. 1 Fat Storm on top of this is going to clear it. Or at least deal some damage. Maybe clearing was a little bit over eager there. So we're splitting more and more of these Templars up. Here comes our first nuke. Astraea does not have detection with this, and that means that the nuke is going to continue to land. The Stalker's now joining in the fight. Zealots plus Stalker's going to be good enough here. The landed Vikings are probably gonna die, at least a couple of them. There's really no, I think we have like 12 Vikings now. No, we only have 7. We only have 7 Vikings left. The nuke was nice because it killed cannons, but if you don't capitalize on the fact that there are no cannons here, it really didn't do much. And this was probably a bad trade overall for Gumiho. We continue getting air upgrades here. Do we have any air upgrades? We have +1 ship weapons for the Terran. That's it. No vehicle plating though. This bad boy is going to be sent out. We need more observers on the map to deal with this ghost cloak spam with the nukes. Because this is going to be a serious issue. We have 2 more nukes in those silos. They're going to be sent out pretty freaking soon. This nuker man, Ghosty, just chilling over here. Not a whole lot of storms available on this side. This army is just so hard to push into positions with. Like, if there's Ghost available, it can be so freaking tricky. Do we have any observers here on the left? Not really. We have some Templars spread out. Okay, this Zealot is being sent into his death at a rapid pace. Here it comes. Oh, come on, what? He thought he could do it from this side, I think. That was a bad queue up. Gonna get one here from the high ground. Let's see if Astraea wants to push into this position or if he's okay with how life is going so far. He's gonna clear this before it gets to land. We have some storms on the low ground. This is going to be a really good fight here for Astraea. Look at that beautiful flank coming in with those disruptors. Can we get some feedbacks? Can we get some storms? He's not using them yet, but these Templars still have energy and the Vikings have disappeared. Triple Colossus, lots of Templar available. What a beautiful engagement. It's going to be carriers, by the way, rather than going for those Tempests. We see a very high barracks count, 12 barracks, a lot of random orbitals here as well, which I personally love. And, well, I actually think Astraea is just doing it straight up here. What's the resources lost? Wow, 17k to 11k. This is a rare sight in a Terran versus Protoss, where usually we see Terrans just trading much more efficiently in this phase of the game. But Astraea, apparently with his army control and just with this army, without even having any air units, is going to win game number 2 and tie up this best of 3. Game number 3, we see Gumiho switching it up. Look at you, you beast. Going for a double gas opener. CC on the low ground. Because he's playing double Reaper, this is allowed. But a much more aggressive approach here in the 3rd game compared to the first 2. Where he did open up with a pretty standard Reaper opener. Often kind of thought about as the most safe, most standard start. The thing with double gas openers is just you need to deal some damage. You're delaying your command center by about 30-40 seconds or so, depending a little bit on how much gas you mine. And 30-40 seconds on a CC, that's a couple of workers, you know, 40 40 seconds, that's basically -1 mu. So you're already, or maybe like half a mu or so. So it's like a 120 minerals or so. And then you're also losing 4 SCVs. You're going to be oversaturated in your main for a little bit. So that means you lose some mining time. So you're quickly going to be down like 400, 500, 600 minerals or so. Maybe 400 or 500 minerals more accurate. It's quite a bit of cash. Going to be lower in the SCV count. And you need some type of compensation for that. Now, what is that compensation? What can it look like? It can look like worker kills. It can look like clearing your opponent's army a little bit. Forcing out batteries is going to be a big one. I'm really sad to see Australia not build a single battery yet. Especially given the fact that he doesn't have a high ground wall. That means that not all of his units are legally allowed to be here. Okay? This Stalker is not allowed to be here. He is here, but it's not allowed. Without a battery, this can be so hard to hold. I mean, Gumiho should be capable of getting 3-4 worker kills here. If he doesn't get that, that is because he made mistakes, not because Australia did something perfect. Okay, there we go. We actually have a battery in the main. I hadn't noticed that, and I think Gumiho wasn't quite ready for that either. And as a result, Gumiho is actually not going to get any worker kills. This is not good for Gumiho. This is really not good for him. He's now going to come in with a double mine drop. This is to be expected, okay? If you're seeing someone open up with triple Reaper, 9 out of 10 times it's going to be a mine follow-up, because Reapers delay marine production. That means that a tank all-in, for example, is fairly unlikely. It is possible, but it's just going to have less marines than usual. Gumiho is waiting for his moment to strike. Mine drop comes in, and the moment these units are going to be pulled away, I'm expecting these bad boys to start running in. Australia, of course, is ready for that. We have the mine drop still in the main base. Could unborrow it once or twice. He's going to do that, of course. It's going to cost his opponent a little bit more mining time. Tanks are coming up behind us. We have a Raven, second barracks as well. 62 out of 70 supply. Maybe a third barracks here could be coming down. Instead, we're seeing 2 depots. That is interesting. That is sussy. That is very sussy. Because what the hell is this then? Look at that. No tech lab. No third barracks. No eBay. We're gonna get a third gas. But this is starting to feel like a real push behind it. So I mentioned that your marine count often is going to be lower, and that's why tank all-ins are quite rare. But he actually produced 2-3 marines with this naked barracks. So maybe it is still possible that he goes for it. There's like a fake push. It is a weird build. Usually you want to go as quickly as possible into stim, into combat shield, into these upgrades that really make a difference for the Terran army. There's no third base yet, by the way, here for Australia, who's for Templar Archives. 2-base storm. Can he do it? Also, look at the vision once again he's created for himself. He's really good at this. Kind of this ballsy movement. I love it. Observer's gonna die against the Raven. That is in the main base. Yeah. If you're flying like this, you should expect to lose it. I'd be shocked if you keep it alive, to be honest. Because you know there's going to be a Raven, otherwise there's going to be some type of scan. If it's this obvious that your movement is going through, Terran is going to deal with it. Gumiho now moving out with triple Reaper, 2 Heli, and maybe wants to clear a little bit of that vision that Australia has created. I wouldn't mind it personally, because there is a lot of freaking vision on the map. This is just a straight up 2-base all-in, by the way. Oh, is it? It's getting extra gates. It's 6 gate. He could still build a Nexus. But he's also building Immortals. If you're building Immortals from 2 base, hey, that's a lot of money that's not going into a Nexus. See, another Immortal. Storm, 30-40% done. Just 6 gateways. Stalker's now moving in position. This auto turret is gonna take out 1 worker. Maybe a second one can go down. Third one will fall as well. It's good old Gumiho with a little bit of harassment is gonna scout the storm as well. This doesn't have an idea about whether there's a third base or not. I'd almost be tempted to say, how about we scan? How about we send like the Reaper Hellion across to see if it's there? If it's not there, we don't have to move out. Look at the situation. It's 52 workers to 45. We have a third base on the way that's going to be faster for Gumiho. Every second that goes by is a great second for Gumiho here. Every single second. The only way Gumiho is going to lose this game if he gets caught in the middle of the map or on the other side of the map and 5 storms hit his marine force, right? That could be an issue. That is an issue. Okay, that's a scan. You see this base not done. Surely we're not going to continue to push. I guess he's fine with the army that he sees. If he's sieged up and he's pre-split, he shouldn't be capable of losing a fight here. But you see a base this late? I'd be wanting to get home, let me tell you. I'd definitely be wanting to get home. We still have a mine drop in here, 1 auto turret as well. Look at the pre-splits here that we're seeing. That's beautiful. That is actually quite neat. 135 supply to 106. Like, Astraea took a huge risk here. Just delaying this third by so much. And now every second that he isn't fighting in an unsieged position is a very bad second. And Gumiho is managing this extremely well. There's going to be a storm here. 2 Templars in here, 1 Templar in the prism. Here comes a flank from behind. Oh, first one is not good. It is not good. Overall, this fight is just not good enough. Tanks are still standing, which is the first thing you want to be taking out. At the same time, we have a drop in the natural as well. I think Astraea might have been busy managing that, but this was a failure of a defense here out of Astraea. Very sad. He really wanted to take that fight and didn't quite manage to take it well enough. If you're doing a 2-base storm defense, you need to clear this like hardcore and then you counterattack. See if you can deal some damage. Maybe take out 10, 15 SCVs. That's what you need. Minimum. Now once again, Astraea is going to come in here. Neat move there. First dropping the Stalker. Now getting another storm in over here. We have 4 mines being picked up. I just think that Gumiho has too much crap. Even has a couple of Vikings to deal with potential prisms, and that is just going to be it. After a very good second game, Astraea not capable of doing the same here in game number 3, and Gumiho wins the series as a result. GG, well played. That's going to be it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye bye.